Okay, Jacob, we are going to look at the solving systems of equations by substitution, that worksheet. I'm going to go over a couple of these just so examples that you can go over um, and help you along with the other ones, hopefully guide you with the other ones that are on this worksheet. First one I'm going to go over is number one. So this is something you and I did right away, our first part of our session. Where we're solving the system of these two linear equations by substitution. So let's write that down. We have, use my stylus here. This is number one. We're given y equals 6x minus 11. The other equation is negative 2x minus 3y equals negative 7. So right away, we have two equations here that are given in different form. The first equation here is given in what form? Well, it'd be the slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b, where your y is obviously right there. 1y equals 6x. 6 is your m, and your b is negative 11, right? That y-intercept, negative 11. The other equation is actually given in standard form. This ax plus by equals c, right? Here's your ax term, negative 2x. By term would be a negative 3y, and the c in that is negative 7. Now, I say that because, eventually, and actually I think in your sections before this, you learn how to convert back and forth between slope intercept and standard form. This one, we don't necessarily have to do that. We can just use this equation to substitute. You're probably thinking that right away. We're going to use that, right? Because we have a 1y. We can throw that 1y into the other one, right? Which is what we're going to do. We're going to throw it into that. But I just want to give you just kind of a heads up. Okay, these are actually in different types of forms, and we do need to know that there is a difference between the two. Okay. For the sake of this problem, though, as long as we have a y here given, a 1y, we can throw that in right away, right? For substitution. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and say negative 2x. We'll use the other equation down. So that's this equation here, this negative 2x equation, minus 3. Well, the y was there, so in place of that, we're going to put this 6x minus 11, right? We're going to substitute it in. 6x minus 11. And that equals, we got to remember, we got the other side too, that equals negative 7, right? So again, all we've done is we have taken this guy right here that they said was defined as y equals that, and we're going to throw it into the other equation, okay, where there's a y. So let's go ahead and solve this. We have the negative 2x. We're going to just repeat that again here, not do anything yet with that. We are going to, on this portion, do what? We're going to do some multiplication, right? We can distribute this negative 3 to each one of these terms in the parentheses, right? We can multiply that out. That would be what? That would be negative 3 times a 6x would be a negative 18x. And a negative 3 times a negative 11 is going to be a positive 33. Negative times a negative is a positive, right? And remember, we still have the negative 7 on the right side. So we got everything multiplied through where it can be. There's no division going on yet. And for now, doesn't look like we need to divide, right? We have a minus here, a plus here. So it looks like we're going to have to do some addition, subtraction, right? But what do we simplify? Well, we have to simplify the like terms, the terms that are like. The terms that are like right now at this point of the math is these two, right? Because they both have an x term. They both have an x term to the first power. This is to the first power, right? So because they're like terms, we can kind of ignore the x for now. We know we're going to have some x, right? It's going to be x, something x. Well, what x? We have a -2 tacked onto that one. And really, we have a -18 here, right? Or we're subtracting 18. So how does that look like? That is horizontally looks like this, a -2 minus 18. So if I start, remember talking about the number line, I started at -2, and I'm going to subtract 18 from that. So I'm going to go away from the 0, right? I'm going to get more negative. Another way you could look at that is -2 plus a -18. That's the same idea, right? We're adding on to it a negative value. So it's getting more negative. And what's that going to be? Well, that's going to be a -20, right? Start at -2, go another -18 units. That's a -20. So our value there, when we simplify that, is a -20x. Redo that on my stylus, gets a little weird there. -20x, okay? So we have combined these two. That's all done. What do we have left on the left side of the equation? Well, we still have this guy right here, right? Still got that 33. So we need to make sure we don't forget about him and put him right there, plus 33. Okay. Left side is simplified as much as possible, right? We've combined the like terms, the x terms. Equals, oh, we still got that -7 hanging out there. Okay, so now what do we do? Well, can we do anything here? Are these like terms? Well, they're not. They're not like terms, so we can't combine them. And the goal here is to do what? Well, the goal here is to solve for x, right? Because we have x for the variable. We want to get this alone. So how do we get that alone? Well, we get alone by getting this 33 off of the left side and over to the right side of the equal sign. How do we do that? Well, if we have a positive 33 here, positive 33, we can get rid of it by subtracting 33, right? Because that would get it to 0. Put a big old equal sign there. But if we subtract 33 on the left side, we have to subtract 33 on the right side, right? In order to be an operation that's legal, that's within the rules, right? So we can subtract the same number from each side and still being okay, right? We're not losing anything in the equation. So when we do that, that goes away to 0, and we are left with a -20x equals, okay, so what's going on here horizontally? If I were to write this horizontally, you'd have a -7. Oh, my stylus is pooping out. Minus 33. This is kind of like what we had up here, right? What we had up before with the -2 and -18. So this is the same as saying what? -7 plus a -33, right? We're starting at -7 on the number line. We're going to go another 33 units in the negative direction. That's going to give us grand total of what? That would be, so it would be like 7, saying 7 plus 33 is 40, right? But we're saying -7 plus -33. That's going to be a -40. -40. Remember now, we want to get x by itself still. Remember, that's the goal. We want this x by itself. So what are we going to do now? Well, since these are multiplied 20 times x, right? 20x is a product. We're going to divide. We'll do the opposite operation there. Divide that out, right? Because that just goes to 1. We have x, and that is equal to what? X is equal to negative 40 over a negative 20. What's that? Punch that in our calculator. That's a positive 2. A negative divided by negative is a positive. So it's a positive 2, 40 over 20. Okay, so we have x now. We were successful in taking the first equation, the y equals 6x minus 11, and taking that 6x minus 11 and putting it into the y of the other equation. By that, we were able to keep it to just to one variable, x, and then solve for that variable to be x equals 2. So now let's use that, x equals 2. And what we can do from here, we can put x equals 2 into the first equation, or we could put x equals 2 in the second equation and then solve for y. Either one of those. The easier one is going to be using the first equation, right? Because if we put in x here, we solve the right side of that first equation. The y is right there. It's just one y, right? We don't have to divide it by anything to get y by itself. So let's just take the easy route and use that first equation again. So what does that look like? That would look like this. We would say, so the first equation, y equals 6 times x. So for place of x, we'll put the positive 2, minus 11. Y equals, what's that? Well, that's 12, right? 6 times 2 is 12, minus 11. So all I did was just multiply there, 6 times 2. We've done the multiplication from left to right. Now we need to do subtraction, right? That's all we have left. Y equals 12 minus 11. That's just 1. So with all of that said, our solution is the coordinate. Remember, this is a coordinate on the graph where two lines cross. They cross at what? 2 for the x value and 1 for the y value. Remember, your coordinate is x, y. And that's it. That is our solution there.